Welcome to another insightful episode of our podcast series on early childhood development. Today we will delve into the fascinating world of cognitive development in children, exploring the intricate processes that shape how they think, reason, and understand the world around them. Cognitive development is a multifaceted journey that encompasses various aspects such as attention, memory, language, problem solving, and executive functioning skills. It is a fundamental building block that lays the foundation for children's overall growth and learning. Joining us today is, of course, our very own Professor Yamba, a renowned expert in human capital development. Professor Yamba, once again, welcome to the Child Development Podcast.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Very excited to be here once more to talk about a very important subject today. And the parents out there, the educators, you just need to understand how cognitive development takes place.
I'm looking forward to this conversation, and of course it's been an exciting building block from the first episode, second episode, third episode. Now here we are on the fourth episode where we're looking at the importance of cognitive development. And as a matter of setting the ball rolling, first of all, we would want you to explain the concept of cognitive development and why it is so crucial for children's overall growth and learning.
Yes. Essentially, cognitive development, or let me maybe begin by just what the cognitive function is. It's about the thinking, the reasoning, problem solving, understanding, and all the associated processes. So that's what a cognitive function is. You recall that in the previous episodes, we have talked about growth from two angles.
Yes.
There's the physical growth and the growth of the cognitive function.
Yes.
So when we talk about cognitive development, we refer to the growth and progression of these processes. The thought processes, the thinking, the reasoning, problem solving in children.
Yeah.
It encompasses various aspects, which in fact you've already mentioned.
Yes.
The attention, the memory, language, reasoning, and executive function skills.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say something about executive function skills. So this is critical.
Yes.
And parents just need to understand this. Now, here is what it says. When we talk about executive function skills, we refer to a set of cognitive processes that are essential for the control and the management of behaviors and thoughts. These skills enable individuals to plan.
Yeah.
To focus, attention, remember instructions, and also juggle multiple tasks successfully. So in other words,
juggle multiple tasks successfully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in other words, an individual should be able to multitask.
Okay.
You know, people talk about multitasking.
I mean, that's what we put on our CVs.
Exactly. We put on our CV.
Able to multitask.
So that's part of the what we call the executive function skills.
Yeah.
So they are crucial for purposeful, goal-directed behavior and are important for adapting to new situations and solving problems.
Great.
Now, here are the primary components of the executive function. Number one is the working memory.
Number one, working memory.
Working memory.
Okay.
So this is the ability to hold and manipulate information in the mind or the brain over a short period. Okay? And this skill is crucial for reasoning, for learning, and comprehension. Okay? For example, you can remember a phone number.
Yeah.
You can remember a phone number long enough to dial it. You know, that function, which enables you to remember.
Yes.
You look at, okay, this, and you can dial it without looking at it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, we say inhibitory control. Inhibitory control. And this is the capacity to suppress impulsive behaviors and responses.
Yeah.
And this enables a child to focus on the task at hand, okay, and resist distractions.
Yeah.
So in other words, there is a task that you are doing, and you must focus on it.
Yeah.
Even if there are distractions that come by, you will ignore them.
You ignore them, and your mind will be entirely focused.
Because you must focus on this particular task. Okay, so it includes self-control. It's part of you control yourself.
Okay.
Self-control, and of course selective attention. And then the third one is cognitive flexibility.
Cognitive flexibility.
Cognitive flexibility.
That's number three.
That's number three.
Okay.
And it's the abilities to switch perspectives or approaches to a problem and to think about multiple concepts simultaneously.
Okay.
And so this skill allows for adapting to new information, rules or demands, such as switching between tasks or considering different strategies when the first one fails.
Okay.
Now, Emmanuel, this is a very important skill. It enables you to think of other solutions. Because remember, there are many ways that you can arrive at the same point.
Yes.
Many times, many of us give up. You try to do something, you fail, and because that's the only way it can work. So when it fails, then you give up.
You give up.
It means there is a problem with that particular executive function.
Yeah.
Okay? So these executive functions develop progressively over childhood and adolescence. Strong executive function skills are associated with academic success, social competence, as well as mental health. Conversely, difficulties with executive functions can manifest as challenges in school, at work, and also social environments.
Social environment.
Yes. So, parents out there, educators out there, understanding and supporting the development of executive function skills can significantly impact an individual's ability to navigate complex life demands effectively.
Okay.
So, activities like problem-solving tasks, memory games, and structured routines can help strengthen these skills in children and adolescents.
And that was going to be my second question.
Exactly.
Of course, you've talked about parents supporting the development of the executive functioning skill.
Yes.
So then how do they do it? And obviously you're answering it now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it is important, create a supporting environment. Yeah. So that a child is able to solve certain problems.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't underrate the child. Many times in our African settings, we tend to say, well, this is just a child. They're just not a child. Well, this is the time, in fact, that you must support them to develop these executive functions to the highest levels. Yeah. So let them play some games that are challenging. Of course, from the time they are born, they will grow 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So progressively, what you challenge them, what you give them to challenge them differs depending on the age. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so progressively, you are helping them to develop those executive functions to higher levels. So when they're adults like you and me, nothing will be impossible for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Because any problem has got solutions from different angles.
Yes. No, very incredible. Obviously, as you're unpacking cognitive development in children,
Yes. Yeah.
and of course, understanding the basics forms a very good model in which we as parents, educators, caregivers can play a critical role in ensuring that children are given that supportive environment which enables them to develop their cognitive function.
The executive functions, yes.
Executive functions that you've talked about, attention, memory, language, reasoning, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
So, while you've explained the aspect of understanding cognitive development, let us move now to information processing theory. Of course, in this episode, we'll be unpacking a lot of information which relate to cognitive development and, of course, understanding the fundamental principles, what builds up cognitive development. So when it comes to information processing theory, how does the information processing theory help us understand the ways in which children acquire, store, retrieve, and use information?
Yeah, really, this theory is simply about cognitive, looking at cognitive development as a gradual improvement of processing abilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so gradual.
Gradual.
Yeah, it is gradual. Gradual improvement of processing abilities. Like we've talked about attention already, memory, as well as problem solving.
Yes.
And it emphasizes the ways in which children acquire, store, retrieve, and of course use information. Yes. So that's really basically about this information processing theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now when it comes to language development, we understand that it's a central aspect of the cognitive development. Can you shed more light on the different stages and milestones children typically go through in their language acquisition journey?
Yes. This language acquisition involves the gradual development of course, the vocabulary and grammar, including other things, syntax, pragmatics, and so on.
Yeah.
But you see, what is important about language development is that a child needs to communicate.
Yeah.
They express their thought processes through, the language.
Yeah.
That's the only way that they can make known what they're thinking to other people, to the parents, to the teachers, and their peers around. So language development is a central aspect actually of cognitive development. And of course, it also helps them understand the concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can engage in social, interaction because they're able to talk.
Yeah.
So language development is an important aspect actually of this cognitive development. Yeah.
Great.
And of course, it means that it is important.
Yes.
Yeah. it is important again to create an environment in a home
Yes.
where children should be able to pick up,
Yes.
words
Uh-huh.
from the parents, the caregivers, and of course this continues even when they go into school.
Yes.
Create that environment for the children to pick up the vocabulary.
The vocabulary.
Yes.
All right.
So that they are able to, to communicate effectively
Yes.
their thought processes.
Oh, great. So this means, for instance, even when a child in their formative years, it could be a day old, 2 days, 3 days, you still have to speak to them like an adult, conversate with them, even when they cannot produce any words but just sound.
Absolutely. In fact, not only when they are a day old.
Okay.
You start speaking to your child when they are in the womb.
So language development starts from the womb.
Absolutely, because
Interesting.
hearing is the first sense
Yes.
that develops,
Uh-huh.
and it begins in the womb. So they begin hearing. Yeah, they begin hearing what you are saying.
Yeah.
If you are talking about, if you are talking about good things, they'll hear good things.
Yes.
Yeah. You're talking to your spouse in a loving manner. Those are the things that they'll hear.
Yeah.
If you are insulting, if there are insults in the house, those are the things that they hear. So let us not be surprised. Let's not be surprised when the children are born and they are still small, as they pick up, the words around. They begin producing certain words that are not good. Don't be surprised.
They have been hearing.
They've been hearing.
And storing.
Exactly, and storing.
Yeah.
So, we come from afar. We come from afar.
Yeah.
And so if you want to build your child into a great person, begin from the womb.
Yeah.
Don't begin when they are when they are in grade 1,
Or grade 2, or even when they're in university.
Or when they're in university.
Yeah.
No, it's way too late.
Yeah.
It is way too late. In fact, Emmanuel, many of us think that numbers are difficult to deal with. I'm talking about mathematics.
Mathematics, yeah.
Yeah. Many people just, they simply give up, when you're talking about mathematics.
At Nyokosa.
Yeah. No, it's because we ourselves have made it difficult because we have not been talking to the child about numbers.
Numbers, yeah.
Begin talking about numbers when the child is in the womb.
But how do you do it? Is it 1 + 1 or counting for them?
Yes, you can count, you know. You can count 1, 2, just that, and so on. And when they are born, they one.
Yeah.
They one. 1, 1, 2, and continue.
Just like that.
Just like that. You will be surprised. In fact, you will think it's a miracle.
Yeah. So patterns will be registering.
Absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely.
I see.
When they begin talking now, as they develop the vocabulary, the language and so on, you will be surprised what they will be able to do. Emmanuel, these are not theories,
These are proven methods.
Exactly. These are not theories. So if as a nation we want to be quantitative, we must begin teaching our children when they're in the womb. Don't begin teaching them numbers when they are grown up.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah.
The brain won't handle. That is the truth.
Yes.
That is the truth. In our country, we are very qualitative. Many things that we talk about
Qualitative in nature.
Qualitative in nature. We are not quantitative. And hence the dismal performance of our economy.
Yeah.
Economy is about numbers.
Absolutely.
It's about quantities.
He who plays with the most numbers wins.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
That's right.
So parents out there, educators out there,
Yeah.
including policymakers and everyone, our leaders, take this as a serious message.
Yeah.
Let's teach our children numbers when they are small, when they're just born. In fact, before they're born.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how important, this cognitive development is. That is what cognitive development is.
Very, very interesting perspectives. And there is another thought process that obviously we are very much aware of, that hiring managers, institutions, wherever you go, whether you're working on a project, you're an entrepreneur, you're seeking employment, one of the prerequisites for you to be identified as a performer on the job, on the project, or on the business is having critical thinking skills and excellent problem solving skills. So today, for instance, you are a CEO, you are the vice chancellor, and whenever you're seeking to hire for a specific skill or a specific role, I think amongst the skills that you're going to underlist on that job description, obviously, I might guess right that critical thinking and problem solving skills are among those skills that you're going to you are going to list, which you demand from those prospective candidates who are seeking to fill up that role.
Absolutely. But
obviously, at the same time, developing such skills, we call them social skills anyway in the landscape of hiring, it takes overtime. All right.
Yes.
And now linking it up to this child development podcast.
Yes.
How can parents, educators, or caregivers, nurture these abilities in children from an early age?
Yes. First of all, we have talked about critical thinking many times. And so I do believe that those who have been following us, seeing us, and those just listening to us, they've come to understand what critical thinking is. But let me repeat, and you've already said it, really. Critical thinking is about is the ability to analyze things. You have a big, complex thing. You break it down into small components for you to understand things better. Okay? It's about evaluating, and you make judgment and stand by it. It's about creativity. Connecting dots that unseemingly cannot be connected. Now, it begins from very far. It does not begin when we go to school. And the parents must help the children to begin processing things at that level. In fact, by the age of 5, a child will have developed critical thinking to quite some degree, and you'll be surprised. Create an environment where children can begin solving some problems. Okay? Identify challenges, generate solutions, implement strategies to achieve certain goals, and so on and so on. These things you must begin when the children are small. Unfortunately, if you begin when they are already beyond 5, that is too late. That is too late. And so you now have a human being who will not really be very useful in the economy. You talked about, when people apply for jobs.
Yes.
One of the things that we want to look for is critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
Are they able to do analysis of complex problems? Are they able to do evaluation? Are they creative? Can they make sense out of nonsense? Can they do this?
Yeah.
And for a person to do this, they must have been socialized right from the beginning. Yeah, from childhood, when they were just born, and in particular during those first 5 years, which really is the center of our podcast. So we are focusing on that because this is the only time that you can create a critical thinker. Anything outside this, you will not be able to achieve 100%. You can achieve things to some degree, but you will not achieve 100%.
100%.
Because you will have missed that window
of developing
critical thinking. Yeah. So parents out there, educators out there, remember, this is the most important window. For anything that you want a child to be in future, it is this window that you must utilize. If you don't utilize that window, it becomes very difficult. Yeah.
Very insightful. And I'm now just beginning to think how over the years, I think a majority of us have ignored this window and focused mainly on what happens when they become adults. And we always feel that maybe the greatest investment is to be done when they need now to go to college or university. But the way you are breaking it down, it demonstrates to say, look, anything that you are desiring your child to be, whether it's an engineer, it's a doctor, an entrepreneur, you don't wait for that time when they step into college or university to become that engineer, that doctor, that entrepreneur, that chef, whichever thing that God has called them to be.
Yeah, no, it is too late, Emmanuel. You are right. It is too late, and this is why our country's economy, the socio-economic development of our country, is dismal. Because we wait, we wait for the children to go to college, to go to university. That's when we think that, now we need to invest here. No, that is too late. So we will not produce graduates, whether it's college graduates or university graduates, who can do great things, who can innovate. We will not be able to do that because the cognitive function has not developed to the level where it should be. So we miss those first 5 years. That opportunity to enable this child become a great person when they go to college or university. We missed it. And hence, and I think I did mention this in the previous episode, that most of us, we're just workers. We're just workers. Unfortunately.
Which is a very, very sad state of affairs.
It is sad. It is sad. Because our education system also makes us that way. And so we now allow other people to come and think for us. This is sad.
So, Prof, as a matter of contribution, don't you think it would be inevitable then if, for instance, the way you've identified how critical thinking, problem solving, cognitive development in totality plays a very critical critical role in shaping human capital development
Yes.
from inception.
Yes.
I'm now thinking, while you're sharing these nuggets, I'm now thinking that maybe it's high time we opened an academy that would focus on developing critical thinking and problem solving skills in children from as early as they are born until such a time when we're able to release them.
Well, we have been thinking about this.
Yes.
And I'm sure not long from now, this is going to be a reality.
Great.
This is going to be a reality. Yeah. An academy where it will be different from any other. So just focusing on developing children who will be critical thinkers.
Yeah.
If we want to shape the nation, the thinking, reshape the thinking of our society,
Yeah.
we need to begin
Absolutely.
from that stage.
Yes.
I'll be lying if I said, no, look, even those of us who are already adults, we can also be part of this. Yes, we we can, to some degree, learn about critical thinking, what critical thinking is, and probably we can achieve something out of it, but will not be as great as those kids starting from zero. Exactly.
To develop these skills.
Yeah.
All right.
So that academy is coming, Emmanuel.
And I just thought of bringing this as a by the way conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know, as we are having this conversation, obviously we want to bring out information that strikes a balance, okay?
Absolutely.
People shouldn't attack us. I know how sometimes, viewers or listeners would approach things from a different perspective. They'll be like, okay, fine, you're a professor.
Yeah.
You've seen this problem for several years, okay? And then here you are now, you're discussing about the problem. So what solution are you offering on the table if we were to overcome this problem collectively as a nation?
No, you are very right. You are very right. And even as we were starting this podcast, we had started laying things on the ground, and eventually this is going to be actualized, where we have an academy that will just be different, focusing on these same things that we have been discussing. And that we'll continue discussing for several weeks to come. Probably according to our plan, if all goes well, for the next 1 year. Yeah. But we thought that it is very important.
Maybe and beyond.
And even beyond. We thought it was very important to also give this free information to the people out there. So, we are already providing some solutions. Those who really want to pick it up from what we are talking about, I'm sure they will see in their children what they'll be able to achieve. Because what we are talking about are not theories, but these are practical things. Proven scientifically and practiced elsewhere. Do you wonder why rich countries are rich? Do you wonder why our countries in Africa, particularly, despite having more natural resources than those countries that are rich economically, why we are poor? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Why are we poor? Despite all the natural resources that we have? And these rich countries, many of them do not even have a quarter of what we have. But they are rich countries. Do you ever ask yourself those questions? Why?
Probably only a few individuals will ask themselves.
Ask yourself. The answer is what we are discussing here.
Yeah.
That's the only thing our friends elsewhere have done. To invest in human capital development. And in particular, the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Just that. You know, it works like magic. But there's no magic at all. There is absolutely no magic.
And over time, I like the example that you've brought in.
Yes.
Where we've seen certain countries becoming richer and rich.
Yeah.
Yet they don't have any natural resources, or if they do have, it's very minute.
Yes.
Versus us who are living in the abundance of everything.
Yes.
And then from time to time, I've heard politicians, I've heard leaders, all right, who are now emphasizing that our challenges today are as a result of our thought process, the way we think. It's a mindset issue.
Yes.
Okay. I've heard the president, I've heard the cabinet ministers, where they keep on emphasizing the need to tune our mindsets.
Yes.
If we're to attract the right kind of development.
Yes.
And from what you are sharing now, we're looking at, first of all, the previous episode we looked at brain development, and now we're looking at the aspect of cognitive development.
Yes.
All coming from the center, which is the mind, the human mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Prof, obviously, you've taken us through the journey of how one can become a critical thinker and a problem solver, but would also want to appreciate and also learn from you, is cognitive development only limited to the first 1,000 days, or say maybe from 0 to 5, or it's a lifespan journey?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong process. Yeah, it is a lifelong process, and it goes even into old age and so on. Yeah. However, the most active period is the first 5 years.
The first 5 years.
The foundation is the first 1,000 days. Okay, because that's where the architecture of the brain is being formed. So
yeah.
the first 1,000, you have got all your brain cells ready, the 100 billion.
Yeah.
You also have got all those trillions of synapses, those connections of the neurons. So you have set up the base. Yeah. And then centers now in different regions of the brain now begin forming now to perform these functions that we are talking about.
Yes.
Okay, so as the child now is exposed to different things in that environment, they begin learning this and that and that and so on and so on. And so the first 5 years are the most active.
Yes.
Yeah, but certainly critical thinking, the cognitive function, it's a lifelong process. Cognitive development is a lifelong process. Yes. It slows down, of course. As you get older, it slows down. So, naturally, that's the way nature works.
Yes.
As we grow older, things they slow down.
Yeah.
Yes. So, in fact, when you go beyond the first 5 years, things are already slowing down. Things are already slowing down.
Yes.
Exactly. And this is why we are emphasizing. We are saying that, yes, even though there are things that you can actually learn beyond the 5 years.
Yes.
But please put more resources in the foundation for you to achieve greater things even as you go along. You achieve much more if you invest a lot right at the foundation level.
Indeed, you achieve more if you invest right at the foundation level.
Yes.
And obviously, to bring you to the other segment of our conversation, we've repeatedly talked about the importance of cognitive development. But obviously now we also want to appreciate what factors influence cognitive development. I think this is very fundamental to understand these factors so that as we are raising our children and obviously playing a critical role in their cognitive development, we understand the factors that affect that important variable of their growth.
Certainly, and that's an important question. Some of the factors are biological. For example, genetic factors. Yeah, you know, genes play a critical role. You know, this is why we are different. We are not the same.
Yes.
Because our genetic makeup differs, and this variety is very important because then you have a variety of human beings on earth.
Yeah.
We cannot all be the same because it means we'll be thinking the same way, and when you're thinking the same way, nothing is exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. So genetic factors, as well as just the brain maturation as the brain matures. So there's some of the biological, you know, important biological factors that influence cognitive development. But also, there are environmental factors. And fortunately for us, we have got control over the environmental factors.
Yeah, than the biological ones.
Yeah. Okay. Genetics, you know, it's difficult, you know, especially under natural environment. I know today there is we are in a different era today.
Yes.
We're in a different era where in plants and animals we can even change the genetics and so on and so on. I think in human beings we have not quite reached the practical.
But very soon, I'm thinking, and this is just my thought.
Yeah, who knows?
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, let's look at what we are able to control right now.
Yes.
The environmental factors. Family interactions. Just family interactions. Yeah. A child is born in the family. How you are interacting with the child. How you are playing with the child. The language. The love that you are showing.
Yes.
What sort of what sort of challenges are you exposing the child to? The games, the what, you know, all kinds of things. Just family interactions, just at that level.
Yeah.
Then of course there are also educational experiences. Yeah. And you see what is happening with all these positive interactions.
Yes.
Yeah. What is happening is that you've got the synapses being formed in large numbers.
Yes.
We've talked about this many times by now.
Millions.
1 second you have a million synapses being formed, and these are important in the development of the cognitive function. Very, very important. So with these positive interactions at family level, at school, you know, the early childhood education time, all those positive interactions enhance these connections of the neurons, which are important for the development of the cognitive function. Okay?
Yes.
So educators, in fact parents, educators, caregivers must give a supporting environment to ensure that you know, this cognitive development is enhanced at any given time. It is critically important. See, the more negative things that you expose the child to, what you are doing, in fact, you are slowing down the cognitive development.
Really?
Exactly, yeah. So, if you are shouting at your child all the time, you are telling them that you are a fool,
Yes.
you know, you are using the language that is not appropriate.
Yeah.
All that you are doing, Emmanuel,
Yes.
is slowing down the cognitive development. And even the educators, the caregivers, if you don't create an environment at school
Yeah.
that will support this cognitive development, what you are doing really is slowing down the cognitive development. So, in the classroom, for example,
Yes.
create an environment which is speaking. Yes,
Yeah.
where a child just goes in, looks around. It must be a talking environment.
Yes.
The environment is talking.
Yeah.
That way you are helping the child develop the cognitive function. You know, at a faster rate. You are not slowing it. So remember this all the time.
Yes.
The environment, whether it is at home or is at school,
Yes.
is critical in the development of the cognitive function. And I'm sure you agree with me, Emmanuel, that we've got control over this, not so?
Yes, yes.
We have control.
Absolutely.
But just go to any of our ECE schools. Just go and walk around, particularly the public schools, and see what is there. Is that an environment which can enhance the cognitive development?
Certainly not.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's not just about children coming to play there and no.
Yeah.
Even the games that we expose them to, there are all these toys and so on.
Yeah.
I don't know, in our public schools, the kind of toys that we have there. I know there are initiatives where teachers, make these, the locally made toys. Yeah. Yes, they do help, but I'm sure we should also go beyond just those things that teachers make. Because there are the toy industry. Yeah, if I talk about the toy industry, it's a big industry.
Is it?
It's
multi-billion.
Multi-billion dollar. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. So they are there because they have understood. And so they are helping us to accelerate the cognitive development. And therefore, let us supply those toys.
Yes.
Yeah. Let us supply them in schools. They have a function. Let us not restrict our children.
Certainly.
We want to have children who will be great people once they grow. Yeah.
Yes.
And also, just playing, Emmanuel, playing with children.
Play is very important.
Play is very important. Yeah. Don't ignore that. Play is important. Play with the child. Remember all these things. You're providing an environment that is accelerating the cognitive development. Yeah. Because this is what it drives the human being anyway.
Yes.
It's the cognitive function.
Yes.
Without that, that's it.
Interesting perspective that you are sharing. I think it's high time that now we took this process of raising children from 0 to 5 more serious. Obviously, from the revelations that you're giving us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. So, Prof, as we zero down on our conversation,
Yes.
Obviously, it's been an exciting conversation looking at the model of cognitive development. So for parents, caregivers, and educators listening, obviously now it's about having a call to action. Yes,
Yeah.
you've talked about these things, you've looked at
Yeah.
both sides of the coin,
Yeah.
the good and also the bad of not doing
Yeah.
it. So for this category of people that care for the children, you know,
Yeah.
parents, educators, caregivers, what practical strategies or activities would you recommend to support and enhance cognitive development in children? And
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, let me say that it is very, very essential for the parents, for the caregivers, for the educators to understand what cognitive development is.
Yeah.
And I do hope that from what we have shared, they should be able to get one or two things from there. Appreciate what cognitive development is and why cognitive development. Because this is what drives a human being.
Yeah.
Now, provide stimulating environments. I've talked about, in a home. Yeah, in a home.
Yeah.
What sort of environment are you providing? Yeah. Including just the language that you use there,
Yes.
the activities that are in the home, yeah, to stimulate this cognitive development in the child.
Yes.
Yeah. Give them an opportunity to explore. Let them explore.
Yeah.
Don't restrict them. Many times, because we think that, it's a baby crawling and, no, don't do that. No, don't do that.
Stop it.
Stop it. Stop it.
Don't touch that. Leave it.
Let them explore.
Yes.
Give them that opportunity to explore, to discover. Yeah. Let them interact. Yeah. Interact with them.
Yes.
As the adults, interact with the children to help them develop. So that's the call to action, really.
Yeah.
It is you, the parents, number one. It is you, the caregivers. By the way, you remember we talked about these caregivers, especially in our homes,
Yes.
as the partners in development.
Yeah. Yes.
These are these are partners in development.
They're not made. Of course, you would call them akaboi, what and what, but you brought in that important aspect. These are our partners.
These are our partners in development. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're shaping the future of your child.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the educators out there, try to be creative. In the classroom where these little ones are coming, what sort of environment are you providing? How are you playing with these children? Are you giving them this opportunity to just explore and explore? Believe it or not, by the time they are 5 years old, you will be surprised, actually.
Yeah.
You will be surprised what they are able to do at that age. 5 years old.
5 years old.
Remember, and I said it, I think, in our first episode,
Yes.
there's no difference between you and your 5-year-old.
Yeah.
The only difference is you landed on earth earlier. Yeah.
Than your child.
Than your child.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So
Time difference.
time difference.
But in terms of functionality,
In terms of there,
you're at par.
you're at par. So I think, Emmanuel,
Yes.
let our parents, yeah, our educators, caregivers, the policy makers,
Yes.
all our leaders, at every level, pay attention to cognitive development in the children. This is a call to action. If we want to reshape our country,
Yes.
there's no any other way, but it's to have human beings
Yes.
who will do it.
Yeah.
And who are these human beings? It's those very little ones that
we're ignoring or
that we ignore.
No, not paying attention to.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
Prof.
And also, I've just remembered something talking about environment again. Really, don't create a dirty environment in your home. Yeah, because you see, when children are seeing dirt, that is all they are seeing, and you see that also hampers the development of the cognitive development.
Yeah.
Provide a clean environment which is positive for the brain to develop positively.
Yes.
A dirty environment doesn't does not do good to a child. Keep your home clean. Keep the classrooms clean all the time. Yes. In fact, if it is these children who are 3, 4, 5, let them in fact learn at that time that they must keep the environment clean.
Very clean.
Well, they're able to do it.
Yes.
Teach them to do that.
Yes.
Let us not keep our country, our cities,
yes,
in the state in which they are. This, believe it or not,
very filthy. I know.
They are hampering the cognitive development. That's the truth. I thought I should end this way. They are hampering the cognitive development of our children.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. And obviously, your killer punch to end this episode is by providing stimulating environments,
yes,
opportunities for exploration,
yes,
and discovery, and responsive interactions. Adults can foster children's cognitive development and help them reach their full potential.
Full potential. And that's what we need.
Yes.
Full potential.
Indeed. We all have a collective responsibility.
It is a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
It is a collective responsibility. And we must create systems. Yeah. We must create systems to achieve this. And I know we can do it.
And we must do it.
And we must do it.
Yeah.
I've met a few people who tell me that, no, you see, Professor, we don't need systems. All that we need to do, just at individual level, you yourself, if you are doing what is right, another person is also doing what is right, then eventually everybody is doing what is right. But you see, Emmanuel, life does not work like that.
Yes.
There must be a system to enable everyone to begin doing what is right.
What is right, yes.
Yes. Yeah, human nature is such that it must be something collectively done.
Yes.
If you just allow them loose to say, okay, each one do what you want, then you won't achieve anything.
It will be changanya.
Exactly. Yeah. So we must create systems which will help everyone achieve what we're talking about. Cognitive development in our children.
Indeed, it was about cognitive development in our children, which marks episode number 4. Thank you very much, our listeners, our viewers, for joining us today's episode as we delved into different intricacies of developing cognitive functionality in our children. And we're looking forward to hosting you, Professor, in episode number 5, and obviously for us to continue on this conversation as we are unlocking the country's potential through investment in our children. Because we always say that our children are the future. And now we are unlocking that potential from the 0 to 5.
Yes.
And showing each and every key player that we have this collective responsibility to invest at that level and see a brighter future ahead of time.
Yes.
Thank you once again, Professor, and to our viewers, our listeners, please don't forget to drop us a comment, like, share, and subscribe for more insightful engagements and conversations when it comes to child development. My name is Emmanuel Chisalo, and of course joined by Professor Kavwanga Yamba Yamba. Until next time, it's goodbye.
Thank you.
Sure.